Hello and welcome to the Club 12 podcast with me, Dave, and with Jamie. You alright, mate?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm good. I'm excited for the season opener.
Me too.
Good stuff. Thanks again to our sponsor, King Kong Tattoo Company, Albert Square, Dundee, for all your tattoo and piercing needs. Mm-hmm. Right, so it's been a good week. We're 4 in a row. I'll tell you what, let's start. We'll talk about Farford first. But we're pretty good.
We'll get it. Come on, right? Obviously, again, I always say, with teams that are in that group, we should be beating them, right? But to beat them in the way that we did, we sat and watched the game, and we were brilliant. Like, the first goal was, what was the first? Kubiak, right? Let's just start with him. He's been a breath of fucking fresh air. The first goal when obviously he shoves the boy off, and I was saying last week I want kind of physical striker, somebody that could hold the ball up, shove people about, be a bit of a bully. And that first goal just epitomised everything that I kind of want for a Dundee striker. Bullying the defender, he gets one-on-one with the next defender, cheeky step over, gets on his other side, and he had a great game.
They were good out of the
we'll get on to everybody, they were all good. The second goal, I think it comes for maybe a wee bit of a mishit for their defender, and then McGinn just pokes it through to Kubiak, and it's finesse, the way that he just lets the ball roll under his foot, turns, puts it in the corner.
Was that button on FIFA?
That's the right bumper. The right bumper if you're Xbox. Don't care about PlayStation.
Is that Xbox?
But that's the right bumper button.
Okay. See, I'm not a computer.
And then another right bumper into the corner. But he was great. And they were all good. That third goal, man. What about that third goal? Right.
It was pretty good. It was good out of
the 20 old part. Well, I can't remember if it was 17 or 18, but that's all that the highlights showed. I'm pretty sure it was more during the game. I can't remember how many it was during the game, but it was about 20 passes, right? And I think as well, see last year, Cammy Kerr, when Max Anderson plays him through right at the end of it, and Cammy cuts it back. Last year, I think he's lashing at that and bolting it over the bar. But he's got a wee bit more confidence about him, and I like it. And the bar that he plays back right here, it's so easy to, especially when you're 2-0 up in the cup, to just leather that and want to get a goal.
I'll tell you when I was lost, right? See when they made subbies and they put Cammy at left back, I was like, that's it, right back. It took me ages to figure out. Mulligan.
It was Mulligan,
right?
And I'm pretty sure during the game, we still didn't ken who it was, and it was after the game somebody told me it was Mulligan went to right back. But listen, we were brilliant out of the park. But that third goal really was nice.
Good.
That was nice.
It was good. Seeing that. I like the fact that wee Lyle Cameron scored again. He kind of reminds me of a wee cheeky Gordon Strachan. Maybe because he's just kind of ginger. That's what it is. We've no other ginger like him since Gordon Strachan.
Now he's got 2 and 2, and Kim, what the goals that he's scoring on that, like obviously then last week was pretty good when he he got the bar and just bolted it right in the top corner. But the other day was quite jinky. He got the ball, he just dribbled through and just with the sole of his right foot puts it in the other corner. And he looks like not just a good player, a good wee finisher. And if he's not centre forward and he's coming in for the wing or whatever, that can only be good. I'm impressed with the young boys that are coming through. And at least now we're getting to properly see them. Obviously we've had glimpses the last couple of years. I think Finlay Robertson was the first that kind of came through, and since then a couple of them have followed. But
I did like as well when the boy Williamson come on. He didn't do overly much, but there was a couple of times where he just ran through players. Yeah. And I kind of like that. We've not really had anybody that just runs through players for a long time.
Big for a young lad. I think he's only about 20 or something, but he's got a good bit of physicality about him. He'll be good. We were good. We were brilliant. I'm really looking forward. See, when we done the podcast in the first week, and you're like, you're looking forward to the season. I was like, not too sure, but I can't wait for Saturday. Can't wait. And that's another thing. It is Saturday. We've been saying for the past couple of weeks.
Friday.
You thought it was Friday, and I kind of just went along.
I don't know how. I think what I've maybe got mixed up in is there a live game this week on the telly? There's no, is there?
No.
I think we're the first live game on the telly. I think that's maybe what it is.
Right, okay.
And it's obviously not. Maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. To be honest with you, I'm
probably wrong.
I'm unresearched in this. I'm just winging this shit as we go. Well, partly.
Can't wait for Saturday.
Good, got your ticket. Actually, I can. You got your ticket.
We've got our tickets.
I picked them up.
We'll be in the Derry. Can't wait.
It should be good. Should be good.
I'm looking forward to walking up these steps though. It's been a good couple of months.
I'm alright. I've been keeping fit. I've been doing my fit pace. I reckon I could do these stairs in about 25 seconds.
We'll see.
You going to bet 50-50?
Half time draw. £1 a ticket.
That wee wifey's been selling the 50-50 tickets for as long as I can remember it.
At the top of the Derry?
Yeah.
See, it's always the same people. The guy that stands outside the Bobby Cox, inside the Bobby Cox when you go in, he's had that job his whole life.
It's a good gig.
That's a great job.
It's a good gig to get. I was like, sure, there's some good perks to it. Right, anyway, let's get back to the football, right? So, top of the group in the League Cup, and we've got a good draw. We've got Falkirk in the next round at Dens.
If there's a team you would have took, it probably would have been Falkirk. Yeah? Mind you, there was a couple other but it's a good draw, especially at home. We should do the job against them. But listen, obviously we want a League Cup and everything, right? The League Cup's a bonus. We should be trying to get promoted. I think this year that should be our main sort of target. But if we're going to get draws for teams like Falkirk in the Cup, we need to take advantage of that.
Definitely.
Because the next round it could be Rangers at Ibrox, or you just don't care.
I used to like getting Falkirk in the Cup when they played at the Old Brockville.
Yeah.
There used to be it was a wee dust barn or place. It was great, right? So I actually went to this. Was it a cup game or was it a league game? I think it was a cup. I can't quite remember. But we played them, and it was about 87, 88, and your Uncle Jim was on the bus, right? Him and his pals, and they got off the bus and they went round the back of the bus to hear Pete. And the bus drove away, and I got lifted for the pole. For hearing Pete in the street. And the best part is, the turnstile was like 4 foot down, right? See if they'd have paid to go through the turnstile. The toilet was the other side that they were peeing against. The irony of it.
I never ever went to that Old Brockville.
Oh, it was great. It was a great wee stadium. But anyway, so this ends at Dens. Alec, let's not get too excited.
Not get too carried away, but we should be beating them 5-0. No, we should be. I reckon. Well, look, with the performances that they're putting on, the bar that they're setting for themselves, we should be beating Falkirk at Dens. So yeah, if we do get past them, that puts you in. Was that the last 8 of the cup? It's only good for confidence.
That's got to be good. And then you're looking for a nice draw after that. If you can avoid the Old Firm, you'll take anybody home or away. Really,
that's the thing. If you could avoid the Old Firm that round after and get to the semis, that's what you're looking for. Okay, but we'll wait and see.
We'll wait and see what happens. Right. Okay. So league business. Mm-hmm. So the League Cup's done. We've got Falkirk next round. That's the end of August. League business starts Saturday. Partick Thistle at Dens.
Yep.
How many are going to win by?
5.
What are you thinking? Because I mean, Partick are probably going to be up there as some of the fancy teams. They'll certainly fancy themselves for promotion.
I think they'll fancy themselves at least for a playoff.
For a playoff, sorry, that's what I mean.
So we were having a wee scope at their team. They've not got any superstars, I don't think. A couple of XDs.
I'll tell you what they've got in the team. They've got Dundee's best fucking striker for last season. The self-proclaimed, by the way, I'm adding. And no, fucking Danny Mulling. He gets called a live wire, right? Now, see, to me, when you call somebody a live wire, it means they're not very good. They just kind of bother you a wee bit. They're a pain in the arse. And that's what he is. I think he had one really good game for us against Kelly in the playoffs.
Yep.
And he won that playoff game for me, no doubt about it. But I'm glad he's gone.
Me too.
However, is he going to score against us on Saturday?
Of course he's going to score against us.
Because that's how these things happen.
That's what happens, yeah. That's what happens. I wasn't too bothered when we let Danny Mullen go. Like, he was alright, but he's nothing to worry about. He's not going to do it. Like, he might score against them, but that's just what happens. Whenever we let somebody go, they always come back and score against them. But nah, listen, he's shite. He is.
And of course, they're managed by a fat Arab bastard, Ian McCall. And right, so interesting as well. Their first team coach is another ex-fucking Arab, right? Alan Archibald. Now, he was the first team manager for 5 seasons.
Yep.
Right? And now he's the coach. What did he do? Was he texting the chairman's daughter? Or like, Enrique, what the fuck happened?
Enrique, so as I said, he got them in the top 6, right? He got them promoted first, then he got them into the top 6 of the SPL. And then the next year they got relegated. And I'm pretty sure they just...
What was it this year when Partick were in the top 6?
This was a wee while ago. This was maybe about, I want to say maybe 7 years ago. And then after that, they let him go. They brought in wee Fatty McCall, and then they've brought him back as his assistant. That's a bit of
That's a downgrade, right?
That's a downgrade and a half. It's pretty funny though.
I mean, he's got a job, I guess.
Fuck him.
Okay. Are they going to cause me any bother on Saturday? I like to think that we're a cut above them, and I think we've shown in the 4 games that we've played up to now that we look like we're going to be a strong team in this league.
I think
the team to beat.
If the other teams, especially like teams like Partick, looking at our team on paper with the likes of Niall McGinn and the other boys that we've got, they're going to be a lot more worried at us than we're going to be at any other team in that league, without a shadow of a doubt.
Do you think they should be threatened by our danger down the wings? But according to our calculations, we've got about 75 wingers. Now, how many have we got?
So I've counted 1, 2.
Well, can I read them out?
Oh right, so we've got Mulligan, we've got McGinn, we've got McCowan, we've got Mick Mullen, and the young boy Cameron, he is a winger. He's come on and he's played in the wing. So that's 5 wingers. Now we play in a system. Well, you can only have 2 wingers. It doesn't matter what system you play. Can you? You really? So there's 2 wingers available, and we've got 5 of them. So if you're narrowing it down, it's a hard pick. But
maybe Gary Boyer's going for the bold strategy and the new invention of the third wing. I mean, I'm not sure how it'll pay off, but
what is that?
I've got no idea. But we do have a lot of wingers.
We've got a lot of wingers. We've got a lot of signings.
I mean, I have said for years, right, that like I said, Dens is a big pitch, and I didn't think we've ever used the width of it enough. So maybe now we've got some wingers. We're going to start to do that.
Well, some of the goals that we were scoring, like in the League Cup games, they were coming for the wing. I mentioned Niall McGinn was really effective going down that left and cutting back and playing in cheeky passes. But on the other side as well, we've now got Mulligan, we've got McCowan's obviously could do a job there as well. We've got pace, and the way that we were knocking the ball about, it wasn't just route 1 where you're hoofing up to your Kubiak.
It was sharp and it was urgent.
It looked like it was they kent what they were doing before they were going to do it. Kind of like they're getting trained to play that way. And obviously we're going to, against Partick, we're going to get a better idea how that's actually looking, because it's quite not easy, but it's easier to do that against the likes of Farfar and Stranraer and that so I can't wait for it to start, and if we're able to play the way that we have been, we'll be fine. We'll be right back up.
I think I mean for me a nice convincing win with a clean sheet would be good. I'll settle for a 1-0 scraper, but I'd like to see a convincing 2-3, 4-0. But look, everybody wants that first day of the season. Real Madrid won that as well.
I'm liking the way that Boyer's got playing though, because even though we've not signed that many players, it's actually a kind of blessing in disguise, because we're able to see what Boyer could do with the guys that we've already got. And if you're looking at the way that we're playing, again, I know it's against weaker teams than we were last year, but the way that we're playing this year compared to that shambles of a season last year, it's a fucking hell of a difference. It really is, and with a couple of extra finishing touches, I think Boyer's... I'm excited. Can't wait.
I'm excited too. One of the things that I'm excited about, right, is I always hate it. Right? See when an ex-Arab comes to Dens as a manager or even as a player for another team, I give them absolute abuse. Right? I love it. That's what I pay my ticket fee for, right? Paul McMillan in your bitch, you're going to be getting on Saturday, by the way, sunshine. On the bench or no. Well, I think I counted 5 of them. Let's say we think. So Hamilton have got John Rankin.
Cove have got Jim McIntyre. Or McInally, any of them.
Jim McIntyre. Inverness, I've got Billy Dodds.
Yep.
Partick, I've got Ian McCall. And Queen's Park, I've got Owen Coyle. Now, you didn't really see him as an Arab, do you?
No, I see him there as St Johnstone.
He played for United, that's enough for me.
Alright, what was that, 80s?
I mean, using a tangerine lighter's enough for me. So, I mean, they're 5 teams I'd like to think that just because they're Arabs then, fucking get up here. I want to give them 6, 7, 8, 10.
So that's like half the teams in the league that are managed by ex-Arabs.
Do you want to come at I'd like to give them a big enough scoreline, right, that the paper only says 9-0. Remember they used to do that for the boys' clubs, right? Like, if you gave a team like 50-0, they only ever put 9-0 in. That's why I want the Courier to report on the Monday 9.
Yeah, if Kubiak, obviously he's going to be up against his old team in Partick as well, so they'll probably be saying the same thing. Kubiak, I bet he scores against us. And if they watch them against Farfar, they'll be shouting themselves. I
think they should be. We've not heard much more of the striker that Mr. Boyer talked about last week. However, did see his interview, and he got bumped by a text in the morning, did he? I mean, we've all had that, eh? Ken, been on a promise the night before, Ken, and then next thing, Ken, what, someone's come up. Good.
So every boy that was seen, well, there's no much. Come on, I like this about Dundee, that you didn't quite ken who we're going to go in for. See, whenever we sign players or we go in for players, we usually find out at the last minute when we've signed them. There's nothing like days before it or weeks before it or anything. But we were trying to sign somebody the other day. I read, I want to say Nathan Delfonso or Delfrenzo, you know. He was a FIFA wonder kid years and years ago. I remember signing him and he was no bad. He's played with Gary Boyd, he's 31. He's played with Boyer at Blackpool and at Blackburn. And he's a striker. And we were apparently linked with him a couple of days ago, or I think it was yesterday I read the article. So whether he was the guy that has told Mr. Boyer to bolt, would I ken. But he might not be. But I do want some strikers in. But as I say, that I'm quite happy to see the way that we're playing with the players that we've got. It's a good change.
Me too. I mean, I'm excited going into the season. Mm-hmm. I look through the league: Arbroath, Ayr, Cove, Hamilton, Inverness, Morton, Partick, Queen's Park and Raith. I expect us to beat every one of them.
Comfortably. But that's the thing about Dundee fans sometimes.
I know.
We think we're better than what we are. But we are.
Do you think every team thinks this?
No. Yeah, no, I do.
Do you think Colchester fans sit in their fucking living room at the start of the season think, right, we're going to win the league this year? I can. Like, we've got a good team. And then come May, they're fucking sitting 14th.
In administration.
In administration again. Sorry, we're not picking on Colchester for any particular reason. You were just the first team that come to mind. Take that as a good blessing, hadn't it?
No, I think every team thinks they're better. See teams like Motherwell and St Mirren and them teams. I think they're gonna think the same as us, that we should be in the top 6 every year. We're in the top 6 because when you think about the top 6 best or biggest clubs in Scotland, right? I think it's straight away Celtic, Rangers, Hibs, Hearts, Aberdeen, us, and United. They're or that might be 7, maybe, I'm not sure. But they're the teams that I think is straight away. Now, if you're a Motherwell fan, are you just taking us out and putting them in? Like, I'm not sure.
Or have you got a different view on it? Maybe they think Partick's a big club. Sleeping Dunfermline.
They'll probably count themselves.
They always get called the sleeping giants. Like, wake up.
There's a few of them. There is, but
I look at the league and I think we should win that league comfortably. But again, let's not get too excited.
I don't want to get too carried away. As I say, we'll have a really good idea after Saturday once we'll hopefully beat Partick.
So what would you like to see across the league season then? Because I think one of the things that I'd like to see is establish a really strong defence.
Yeah.
Like, we've been able to score goals here and there over the years, right? But good teams, solid teams, are always built on a great defence. So I think if you win this league with a good defence and go up to the Premier,
Yeah.
That's a better starting point than scraping your way up to the Premier through a good run of results at the end as opposed to a really good season.
So we've obviously bought in the boy French for centre half, right? And apart from that, the other 3-4 guys, well, including the goalie, that are going to be at the back, they were all here last year, and I just keep going on about the difference that Boyer's making. I can't believe it's the same team, like, honestly, and they're. I just can't believe it's the same team.
So, what's your starting team then? What would you pick for your starting team?
So, last year I wouldn't have said this. Going to start with Sharp in the goal, a back four of Kerr, French, Sweeney and Marshall. Boyer plays the five at the back, the five in the middle, should I say. So, centre midfields, Anderson, McGowan and Byrne. We've not really got another centre midfielder, I don't think, apart from McGee, who's injured. Two boys out wide. On the left I'd go for McGinn every week, and on the right, that was a difficult one, because on the right you've got competition where you've got the young boy Cameron, who's been coming on and scoring goals. You've also got Mulligan and Shed Boy McMullen, right? So if you're picking one out of those three, I went for Mulligan, because it was between him and Cameron, to be honest with you, but
I'd go for Mulligan as well.
Mulligan's showing that I think he's just a little bit of a step
for
up.
me, I'm not going to lie, I'm fucking biased with McMillan, because I can't stand his bits.
I can.
And to me, it infuriates me
that we made a podcast.
He's still wearing them, right? And so anyway, but I do think Mulligan's in better form and playing better. And he's always going to give. I think Boyer's always going to give the young guys a chance.
Yeah.
If they're playing well and continuing to play well, so he's going to do that. I'd still like to see him bring in somebody that we can all get goals.
Mm-hmm.
I think we definitely. I mean, Jakubiak, he's looking good at the minute, but that's at the minute.
Yeah.
Right. Let's not get too excited. He could get injured. Somebody could come in and buy him. Fucking. You just don't know what's going to happen, eh?
Yeah. I wouldn't want to put all my hopes up on Jakubiak. But again, he has showed that he's a pretty half decent player if he gave him the opportunity. But as you said, he is really injury prone as well. We need somebody else. Just Boyer's came out and said we need somebody else. We've said it enough. I just hope that boys are not just looking at the league that we're in and thinking, Scottish Championship, and I'd rather go English League 2.
I don't fancy that.
And they're not looking at the actual bigger picture. Because I guarantee you that's probably happened with a couple of them. They've looked at the league and thought,
they've maybe thought, Colchester have got a better chance this season. I don't even care what league Colchester are in.
I want to say League 1.
Let's go with League 1.
I want to say League 1.
Well, come on, Colchester, fucking good luck to you this season, guys.
I think they wear blue and white.
Did they? Might put a feather double on them in Dundee. Well, we'll do that, right? We'll do that, right? Whatever league they're in, we're here a feather double. Colchester and Dundee, you heard it here first. That's our nap for the season.
Tipsters.
Tipsters, right. So, season opener.
Yep.
So last week we did ask some folk to slide into our DMs, but we got pure bumped.
Rubbered, man.
Although to be fair, I've not even gave it the details yet, but if you do want to get in touch with us for next week or any week that you like, you can get us on Instagram and Facebook, the Club 12 podcast. It's dead easy to find. See, if you go to the research bar and start searching the Club 12 podcast, you can find that it's $1. Share it with your pals and stuff, it'll be tidy. But so we got bumped. Nobody spoke to it.
No.
However, you did mention about a good season opener, which was doing at Kilmarnock.
Did. That was great. So there's been a couple of good season openers. Obviously, I'm only 25, so I can't remember the ones that you remember probably better.
I'm saying
I'm saying that you're older than me, that's what I'm saying. But some of the ends that I've picked out, and it was actually good remembering some of them, right? So one of the ends that I dug out was, I remember I don't think you were there, but I went with Grandad, right? So we went to Livingston, I want to say 2006 or 5, so we'd got relegated, right? I'm pretty sure. And then the year after that, Livingston got relegated, and the year after that, we played each other in the opening league game. So I want to say 2006, 2007.
Okay.
And we went there, and it was obviously Livingston's wee square-looking ground, and we took up, honestly, so it was like half of the stand behind the goal, and then I want to say another half of that side stand going all the way up at Almondvale, right? We had, it must have been about 2,000 we were, and we won 2-0. I can't remember what I scored. I want to say Kevin McDonald was in our team. Can Kevin McDonald?
Oh, I remember him,
I want to say he was playing me with then.
He's at United now, is he? He was last season.
He's at United, that's enough. But he was it. But anyway, but we won 2-0, and I just remember there being so many Dundee fans that day. I see compared to obviously now, and that wasn't even that long ago. That wasn't even 20 years ago. But that was a really good one.
I remember going an away day. It was actually Kilmarnock as well, and it was when I think they'd just been promoted. Had it been promoted? I'm actually think I might be getting mixed up with games now. But anyway, I'm going to tell you this anyway because it was good. I think the score was 1-1, but I was really, really drunk, and there was massive amounts of Dundee fans doing at Kilmarnock that day. It's like I can't remember if it was a cup game or a season opener or not. But we got a penalty, and Jerry Britton stepped up to take him. Do you remember him? No. Once described as the poor man's Dion Dublin. Right? He steps up, missed the penalty, and Kelly ran away all the way up the park and scored.
Hey, what? Like a Troy Deeney?
Like a Troy Deeney, yeah. Not quite as spectacular, but like a Troy Deeney. I remember being devastated, but I'm sure it finished 1-1.
The first games of the season are great. Another one, it was only, I want to say maybe 5-6 years ago, so we'd sell Greg Stewart, so we were playing Ross County away at the first game of the season, and I think it was when we still had Paul Hartley as our manager, and we'd on the bus up to Dingwall, right, so when we left Dundee at, I want to say maybe 8 or 9, we still had Greg Stewart, right. By the time we got up to Aberdeen, he was he'd signed for, who was it, Rangers he went to, or who was it he went to after us? Birmingham City, that was it, Birmingham City. And then by the time we'd got up to Dingwall, we'd signed El Baktui. I'm pretty sure, because I'm sure it was on the same day that we'd signed El Baktui, or maybe he was the day before, I can't remember.
Whatever happened to El Baktui?
I can't, but we were expecting big gigs for him, so when they went up to Dingwall, he didn't start, I'm sure. But we'd won again that day, it was brilliant. I think we won 3-1. Mark O'Hara scored, Paul McGowan scored, and Rory Loy, I want to say. Rory Loy. Tap
TV pundit now, a radio pundit.
Can't believe I'm remembering that, by the way, because I would have been smashed.
I think this is how I didn't remember too many of the away games, because I was kind of blurred.
That's the thing with the away games. You only remember the goals. But we were great that day. That was another good. He came out first game of the season. You're wanting it to be a nice wee trip away, are you? It's good at home because you've got the advantage. But if you go away for him first game of the season and you get a result, there's no better feeling in the world. I don't care what anybody says.
That's it. Definitely.
But no, they're great. Another one, and that was Kilmarnock again. So I mentioned Kelly last week. You've mentioned him again there. Remember when Rangers did? And we became Club 12.
I remember that vividly.
Yeah, right. Well, I'd hope so.
Show us your deeds. Remember that? Right, sorry.
So that year when Rangers did, we went up. Who was your manager? Was it Barry Smith?
It was John Brown.
No, John Brown came in.
Oh right, so
and we had a team, so we had like big rap.
You're right. I think it was Barry Smith.
Reece Weston. We had a team that should not have been in the Premier League, right? They were fucking horrific. But it was our first season in the SPL in about 7 years. So we took that Hale stand at Rugby Park, right? That big area at the back. We filled pretty much all of it, right? I want to say there must have been about 2,500 Dundee fans there. And there was beach balls, and it was like a pure party. And we drew 0-0. And we were shite. I think maybe I had a couple of shots on target or that, but the fact that we just got a point with that team that should not have been getting points anywhere that was brilliant. That was another great day. Some of those Defiant games were brilliant as well. Sorry, I just ramble on about great games.
No, that's silly, but that's what you want. So maybe next week, well, if somebody wants to slide into my DMs or tell about some fantastic away days that they've had.
Yeah.
Because I've had a few. I remember my first ever away day, where I like went on my own, like kind of like without
your mates,
without my dad, right? And I got on the bus. It was the Up and Up Club, right? So we used to live. we used to live. That was the Clever House. So it's not there anymore. I think it's now a nursery. It's down the bottom of Trottock.
I can't exactly
right?
where.
We used to leave you there, and fucking bus used to leave about 7:30. And you can, like, if you're going to Kilmarnock, you used to get down to some places at ridiculous times. But anyway, we went through a time castle this day. We were actually putting Hearts in the Cup, and we were sitting in this. We went into this pub called the Stretford Arms. And I think I was about 14 or 15, and thought, right, I've got a beard. I'm like, I'll get served here. So I swaggers up to the bar and says to the guy, "Mate, can I get a pint?" He went, "A fucking pint of what?" And I was like, "A bottle of Newcastle." I did, swear to God, pure shot myself. So I gets my Cal bottle of Newcastle out the fridge, right, which normally they're for a shelf, but this was in the fridge, and I'm sitting down at the table, and I was the next thing, this fucking traffic cone comes through the window, right, and a police horse fucking stuck its head in, and I'm sitting there pure shiting myself.
Is this in Edinburgh?
This was in Edinburgh. At the Stretford Arms, yeah. So anyway, it gets to about 20 to 3, so I think there was a wee skirmish in the street or something, and somebody put the window in, but the police horse was just here to peek in, trying to see what was going on, but I was fine inside. And then we went into the game. I think we got beat, I can't remember, I was drunk.
We should remember the horse though.
So I do remember the police horse, and I was like, oh my God. So that was my first away day on my own. It was pretty good. I actually think as well, I could be wrong about this, but I think we went back to the barrels after it. Again, the 3 barrels on that. It's just the barrels now. And they used to do meals and stuff, and I was sitting in the area in a couple of pints and spewed over the player. Got barred. That was me barred for the barrels. Never been in the place before, right? But folk were sitting here in the meal, and I just spewed out the place. Sorry about that if you were in the barrels that night. So if you want to let me know about your favourite away days, or even if you want to send us some of your photos to get them included on the video reel of the Club 12 podcast, then give a shout at the Club 12 podcast on Instagram and Facebook. Right, so some other football news that I wanted to talk about there. Did you see the Aston Villa Football Club finalist?
Yep.
Right, should we introduce it at Dens? Maybe no to the extremes, right? Because I've got a wee list out here. Hold on. Let's see this wee list here. So, if you illegally park at the football club, you get fined. I'm not quite sure how you illegally park.
How do you illegally
I'm not quite
park?
sure. Surely you would get a parking fine for that anyway, right? But if you're late for training, it's £500.
See, am I right with that? Tangerine bits.
McMullen, that should be an instant. We should bring in our own fine list.
Each bit.
£500 for each bit. But some of them are good, but I do like to send. So if you're sent off, you have to take the team for a meal within 4 weeks of the red card.
Yeah, I'm surprised Voldemort never introduced that, because we had a couple of boys sent off last year.
He looks like
he looks like he'd loved it. Mock chalk supper.
Have Inverness got a bad disciplinary record? Because Billy Dodds is fat as fuck.
They
Wonder
must
if
do.
he takes them out for food.
But the aim of the food was good. There's another aim in that. I've got the list there.
I do. So forget GPS for training.
Aye, right, what's that about?
So kind of the way they bra things.
No.
Kind of like they.
Does that monitor your heart rate?
And monitors how far the
surely you would leave that training in your locker. That's what I would do with that.
Do you know what I target even wash it?
No, that's what the kit woman's for.
Right enough.
Can?
Do you think we've got them? Probably do now, right? I think we probably do.
That's how.
If you're late onto the training pitch, it's £200 a minute for every minute that you're late.
Imagine you're sitting here in a Barry White,
How late are
that's
you?
the most expensive shite you're ever going to hit in your life.
What? Nah, you're waiting till break. Let's see. Wrong attire on match day. Tracksuit and polo to be worn, not shorts.
Well, I'm going to be honest, right? See, when I played football when I was wee, we used to get told that too. You're drilled that for a young age, right? And the amount of money that those football players get, I'm alright with that.
Right, so when I was wee,
they should ken that.
You didn't get to tuck your strip hem. So the manager took it away him. But we also didn't have change rooms, so we just got fucking changed like minks at the side of the pitch. Like simple, like weird change rooms, but if you were playing at a different in a different tune or something, Ken, and it's like, right, we'll meet here and get changed. Well, fucking, what were we in there for, Ken? I think it evolved a wee bit as you got older, because you had like the Dick McTaggart Centre and stuff, Ken, with loads of changing rooms, so that'd be a good in the juice. Late for a commercial appearance.
So if you're sitting there on your phone, the guy for DTV's sitting waiting on you. Ken, right, nah, £500.
That's it.
Each
minute. Forgetting cakes on birthday, right? So does that mean that they've all got to bring in a cake for somebody's birthday? And how does the dietitian feel about
that?
I
say, surely
in the sports science.
So if you've got a squad of about 30 players, right, and each of them's bringing in a cake, and you hate to eat that cake, surely you're not a Premier League football player. Ken, how much are they getting fined for the cakes?
£50 a day.
A day?
So for each day that you didn't bring in a cake, you get fined £50.
Yeah, it doesn't say how big the cake is, I suppose. You can maybe just get like 50 wee cakes.
But fuck, how could you eat 50 wee cakes in one day? And really, if you're fining people for no bringing you the cake, you're not letting them out of your butt. Aye, because like, well, they had to bring the cake anyway or they get fined. Otherwise, what's the point in bringing the cake?
Yeah.
Just tap £50 off it. That'd be the sensible way to do it. You get booked for dissent, it's £200. I think that depends on what the situation is, because, for example, say there's a referee that you maybe feel favours an Arab persuasion, and he calls a bad call, and the boy calls him a fucking Arab bastard. I'm alright with that. What? You tell me you're not alright with that.
Nah, of course I'm alright with that.
If a Celtic fan, right, kent that any of their players had been sent off for calling the referee a fucking mason, right, they'd be well chuffed with that. They'd not chip in for his fine.
You'd get a 40 on the Y after that.
Nah, you would.
Some of those are like, if you were introduced them to dance, players would be homeless and in the gutter by next week. We get booked every week, and I'm pretty sure a few of them missed training because, well, they did last year anyway.
I think every time Paul McMullen turns up with tangerine dates, or anybody should be made to train in their pants.
So that was another thing, right? So Gerrard introduced a worst trainer, so that I vote on was the worst trainer, and then they hate to sit there and wear a tap that says I'm the worst trainer. And
they dangerous.
Honestly, imagine that. You'd be like,
Celtic had that for a while. So do you remember Reggie Blinker?
No. Yeah.
Right, so they had a player called Reggie Blinker, right, which obviously rhymes with stinker. And I think their tap was called, a donkey jacket, right, and they had this fucking bib, right, the yellow bib which had written on it, and any of the players had written on it, I'd had a Reggie.
I should introduce some of that.
I should definitely bring in some of that. Although, for the way pre-season looking, it's actually looking pretty good.
Yeah, confident.
So I'm excited. So, right, we're going to need to wrap it up. It's getting to that time in the show. Partick Saturday. Predictions. Come on, give me a scoreline and a goal scorer.
I'm going to go for 3-1 Dundee. I'm going to go for Kubiak to get a couple, and I'm going to go for Niall McGinn to get one, and Danny Mullin's going to score for them.
Oh, brutal.
I hate Danny Mullen. Me too, but 3-1, I'll go for that.
Well, I was going to say a comfortable 2-0, but now that you fucking brought up Danny Mullen, which I hate, I'm going to say that we're going to win 4-0 and the Kubiak's going to score first. That's my prediction.
Sounds good.
Right, so let's wrap it up. We'll be back again with the Club 12 podcast next week. Thanks to our sponsors at King Kong Tattoo Company, Albert Square, Dundee, for all your tattoo and piercing needs. We've been the Club 12 podcast. Some other news just before we go. Barcelona buy a second studio apartment in Salford to tempt Frankie de Jong off of their wage bill. Motherwell dumped out of Europe by Ireland's finest Sligo Rovers. Rebecca Vardy loses the Wagatha Christie case to Colleen Rooney. That's 1-0. And Dundee United are still shite. We've been the Club 12 podcast. Cheers, goodbye.